Hey, Gluten Free Badass, happy holidays to you. How are you? How are things going? Are you taking time for yourself? I really hope so. All right, so pie crust with gluten is really hard to make. And then when you try to make it gluten-free, it can get even harder. Let's keep things a little more simple, shall we? And fun. Let's make a pretzel crust using gluten-free pretzels. Let's put some wonderful homemade chocolate pudding in it, and then on top, some homemade whipped cream. Sounds awesome. So please, let's have some fun. Okay, so let's start with pretzels. All right, so you wanna get some gluten-free pretzels. I love the Snyder ones, that are like all, in that shape, that twisted shape, and I put them in a plastic bag. Ooh, plastic bags, and then I'll crunch them with the rolling pin. For some reason, I couldn't even think of what that was. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in a bowl, and this is really, really easy, but fun. Like, it can be good just to smash things sometimes, don't you think? I think so. So we're gonna put in our nice smashed pretzels. Now we're gonna add some sugar. That's sweet and that's salty together is awesome. And then some melted butter. Ooh, that is gonna be delicious. Yeah, take a look, Andrew. And we are stirring this up, and it is gonna be truly delectable. Now, what you'll want to do ahead of time here is to take a pie pan and put some butter in it so that it will not, so your pie will not stick to the pan. All right, and we have this stirred up really nicely. Take a look. And we are going to put it in our pie pan. Yeah, let me get this nice and close for you. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna press it into the bottom. And it's gonna be nice and thick. And then we kind of lift it up just a little bit on the edges, right? So we can kind of get that full crust effect. The nice thing is this really goes well with chocolate, but then again, I think everything goes really well with chocolate. You can put anything. What about like caramel pudding? Or I think like lemon or vanilla. Really anything would go great. So what you would normally do then, oops, I almost forgot to do this. Hold on 1 second, we gotta get this boiling. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back, hi. You're gonna bake this, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna pretend with the magic of live streaming that it's been baked. Poof, how wonderful, it's been baked. All right, so let's head over and let's start making our pudding, okay? All right, making your own pudding is really easy. The ingredients are very simple. There's just a couple of things in terms of technique that you have to do so that your pudding still comes out thick and smooth. And of course, delicious, because not only the flavor, but texture always matters with food as well. Ooh, someone's come to join us. Who is here? Now, Catherine is eating Snyder's pretzels, but she's eating the kind that have the flavoring on them, which I totally love. And if life is just too busy right now and you don't want to make your own whipped cream and you don't want to make your own pudding, this is why the good Lord has given us instant pudding in terms of Jell-O. You can use that, as well as pre-made whipped cream as well. Feel free to make it easy. Okay, so we're gonna start with, what thickens pudding is cornstarch. So we're gonna take a little bit of milk and we're gonna put our cornstarch in there, and we are going to stir it up. Make sure it dissolves in there, because when we do it in this small amount like this, then it makes sure that the cornstarch doesn't clump if it was to go into a larger amount of liquid. All right, so we can see how wonderful that looks. We're gonna put that in our bowl. All right, ooh, yay. And we want to add other important things. We want some cocoa. Any kind. You can use Dutch processed or you could use the American processed. Either one works. We are going to, hold on 1 second. We're going to put in sugar because we need it to be sweet and delicious. We are putting in some wonderful, actually it's 1 whole egg and 1 egg yolk. Okay, because again, we like that thickening of that the egg yolks provide. Did you want to stir this? Is that what I was hearing? Okay, wonderful. So you're going to whisk this. Get this a little bit out of the way. And as soon as it's all stirred up, you let me know.
Okay.
Okay. So one thing that I think is so interesting is so many of the foods that we have made together in terms of their history usually have come from the Romans or the Greeks. We did have some fun coming out of Vienna in Austria, but primarily it's been those two other cultures. Pudding is distinctively British. This is our first dish that we are making that's rooted in British history. One thing I find so fascinating is pudding in America means dessert, but pudding in England can mean anything. It can mean dessert. It can also mean like boiled sausage, because that's originally what pudding was referred to. Or it can just be a general kind of like savory with maybe a little bit of sweetness, kind of meat. I'm not sure what I would call it. I guess pudding, right? Like kind of a custard type thing. And I've never had those meat versions. Have you? And if so, what did you think of them? What I prefer, let me just take a look at this, can I? Oh, you did a great job. Very nice. Good job. So here we are. We have stirred this all together. And what we are waiting for, because I did not press this, I did not get this going fast enough because I'm so excited to be talking with you. We're just going to let this milk boil a little bit. Andrew, why don't you come take a look at this and show everyone. You can start to see a little bit the steam coming off of it. I don't know if anyone can.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, well, we're getting there. And so one of the questions, so Catherine, I know at some point here you did have a question for us. Do you want to hop on over, or Andrew, you can turn it to her? That's perfectly fine.
Hi, so my question for you guys is, what is your favorite kind of pie since we're making it? Like apple, cherry, it could be any kind of pie. Let me know. And yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question, baby. What's your favorite kind of pie?
Catherine,
I'm asking you.
I think my favorite is probably apple pie or cherry pie.
Ooh, and do you like ice cream on it or whipped cream?
I normally like it just plain.
Okay. Andrew, I know what your favorite pie is, but would you like to share it with everyone?
yeah, I like apple.
Yes, and do you like it better with like a regular pastry crust, or with a crumb crust on the top?
Either or, it's still good.
Okay, very nice. All right, so why don't we, look at this. This milk is ready to start boiling, so we are just going to take a couple of spoonfuls, and we're going to put it over here back into and Catherine, while I do that, will you stir it, please?
Yes.
Having it move while we do that is a good idea. All right, and so what this does is if we had poured all of this in here, the chocolate into the milk without kind of giving a little bit of a taste to it, a little early mixing, is what would happen is it would curdle and it would break up into little pieces. And pudding is known for being smooth, not broken up into little pieces. All right, my darling, you did a great job. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna put this here. And so now we put this nice chocolate mixture back in to our...
Dun,
dun, dun, dun.
Why don't we just mix it in the first place?
Well, because it'll curdle. Do you know what curdle means?
Like ball up?
Yes, very good. So the milk solids will start to ball up, and we do not want that. So what we're going to do now, why don't you come take a look, Andrew, if you would, and show everyone. We are going to stir this up, and what we want it to do is we want to stir it until it starts to thicken. Okay, and we're going to do that for a moment. Catherine, Deborah has shared what her favorite pies are.
Your favorites are banana cream and Boston cream. What is Boston cream?
Oh, Deborah, do you want to respond to that? I will let you do that. I must say, I haven't had one of those in ages. Do you make your own? I'm curious.
Also, what's banana cream?
Well,
Lots of questions.
questions. This is good. There's nothing. We like curiosity here. So when we talk about pudding, like I said, it started over in England, and when it came over here to America, it became very much, like I said, about a dessert. And what's interesting is to see the history. The original puddings were made in around the 1500s, but puddings here in America really didn't start to get made until about like the late 1800s, early 1900s. And are you ready for this? Rice pudding was considered like medicinal. People would make it because they thought it would help them feel healthier. Why not? I think, some rice, some sugar, some eggs, and some milk is always a good combo. Ooh, okay, so let's take a look at this, okay? Can we see how this is starting to thicken? And, which means we are at a great point. We've turned down the heat a little bit, and we're putting in a nice big bowl of chocolate chips. And you honestly could put any combination of chocolate. If you wanted a little darker chocolate, feel free to do that. You want milk chocolate? Go for it. I like semi-sweet. Really, I like anything that makes me think of chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, Mom.
We're also, 1 second, baby cakes. We're also gonna put in vanilla. Yes, my darling. What we're gonna stir this until it is nice and smooth. I mean, it kind of is smooth, but all incorporated. Yes, my darling.
I don't know if you noticed that I ate a lot. Just kidding.
Did you?
Ate like 4.
You know, I always seem to miss that at the beginning end, or the beginning part,
Just
don't
like-
I? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. This is nice and made, but it's a little warm to put into our baked crust. So we're gonna let this sit over and cool. What I would normally recommend is that you put it in a container and you put it in the fridge. So we're gonna pop over and I'm gonna show you a really special trick. Oh, you know what that is? That's the oven beeping, saying that as soon as we're done here, I can make dinner for me and the kids.
Well, what are we
Yay.
gonna have for dinner?
Because sadly we can't have pudding pie for dinner.
I know, but we will have it for dessert.
Maybe we should go to Britain or whatever it's
We could, we absolutely
England.
could. And, all right, so let's take a look here. So when you put your pudding in the refrigerator, all right, you need to put a layer of something over. So put like a piece of parchment paper, something that won't melt, okay, but that protects the top of it from the air. Because otherwise what happens is a skin forms, and cooked pudding makes a really thick skin, which I think is absolutely superb to eat, but it's not super appetizing in terms of mixing it back in and putting it then in your pie. All right, so what you end up here is with this very, very delicious looking pudding. Look how thick that is. Oh, Andrew's trying, very
Yeah.
nice. Do you want to try a little bit?
I already did.
Oh, and?
I have a question for you guys. I don't really like pudding, but do you?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I've never really liked pudding, like
You're
the
not-
texture.
The texture?
Yeah, like the texture, and it just never tasted good. It just tasted fake.
Even mommy's homemade stuff?
No, not yours. It didn't taste fake.
Okay, well that's good.
Others.
Others. Well, you know, and that's fair. That's kind of why I like the homemade version very, very much. All right, so we're gonna take this and you're gonna pour all of it into the pie, into your pie crust. All right, and it is creamy and luscious, and actually it's the texture that makes me love it the most, but I understand everyone gets to have their own taste. All right, so we are gonna do that. Next, what you'll want to do is make your own whipped cream. I don't want to subject you to all that noise, but basically you just put in some whipped cream, vanilla, powdered sugar, because we don't want the cream, we don't want the grittiness of regular granulated sugar, and you whip it for just about a minute. And there's your whipped cream. It is amazing. Andrew's gonna try that too. Awesome.
Really try.
I am so glad you're gonna try.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. So we are gonna put that on.
Whoa.
Now, again, knowing that we are working with, that we don't want skin, okay? We're gonna cover the entire top of the pudding. Oh, excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat there. We are going to ribbit. We're gonna cover the whole thing with the cream, all right? Now, you can make this a day before and put it in the fridge. It definitely needs to be chilled, so that way when you cut it, it cuts more
Can I spread
easily.
it?
Yeah, do you want to spread it? That would be
Yeah.
great, darling. While Catherine's that, I do want to show off our fun gingerbread houses. These are not gluten-free,
No.
but the kids had fun working on these. This one, we had a hard time with it all standing up. So what did we call that? What came through?
Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, so Hurricane Katrina came through. We just had our general, natural disaster, and so things fell over, and it
Here, I'll
worked.
turn it around. This is how it was supposed to be, because I made a little wreath on the front of the one that actually did stand.
Oh, okay, good. Very nice. Okay, I think you did a good job. All right. Now, let's have you do this. Can we put some really pretty Christmas colors on it? Yeah. Now, mind you, you could easily just serve that, whether it is Valentine's Day. That's right. Why don't you take your fingers and sprinkle it? That might be a little easier. I wasn't real
Probably.
clear. There you go. Or you could make this for Easter, or you could just make it because you totally had a fantastic week at work and you want to have yourself a pretzel and chocolate cream pie to reward yourself. For whatever reason, you can put decorations on top, or you don't have to either. We're gonna do both. See, I like to color coordinate my clothes with the food, which I think is awesome. Oh, that looks very, very nice.
I'm just gonna dump both in the middle.
Hopefully not. Okay, so what we have is this beautiful pie here. Take a look how that looks. Okay, and as always, we want to test it.
Mom, I have actually never had this before.
Would you like to try it first?
Yeah.
Yes. So we have pretzels, the salty. We have the sweet of the cream and the pudding. What do we think?
Hey, don't forget cameraman.
Here, hold on, cameraman. Hold on 1 second. There we go. What do you think, cameraman?
That's pretty good.
Oh my gosh, it is so good. And I love the texture as well of the pretzels. Just a little bit of crunch when you have all of this cream. It's just a really nice juxtaposition, if you will.
Yeah.
Oh my
For me
gosh.
personally, I would want a lot more pretzels, but
We can work on that.
just fill the whole pan up. And
Well, if you got your mom a deep dish pie pan, I could do that for you.
That's a good Christmas present.
Isn't it? I think that's a wonderful Christmas present. This is something that I'm just going to keep eating. This is one of those fun desserts where anyone who sees it, whether they're gluten-free or not, when they come over for Christmas or Christmas Eve, or you could do it for New Year's, are going to say, ooh, can I eat that now? How about like now? And so it's a wonderful, almost, I'm not sure exactly call it a showstopper, but it is certainly one that catches people's attention and makes their mouth water. Very nice. Very good.
Can I just take this and you have that? Because that's what I want.
Yes, wonderful. I like that. That's good. All right, so I'm going to wish you a wonderful week. I cannot wait to see you next week. We're going to do another Christmas dessert. And again, one that will be just delicious and fun to make and great to serve to your guests. Meanwhile, please keep being you and never, ever compromise on that.